Welcome to the channel. Today, my name is Brandon, aka Night Owl. I make things, I make Clash Royale things. If this is your first time checking out one of my builds, thanks for dropping by. If it is as well, check out the rest of my builds, dude. They're pretty sweet. They turned out awesome. Today, we're gonna do something great. We're gonna do something fun. It is the Goblin Barrel. And not only the Goblin Barrel, but this is gonna be like probably a 3-part video because you'll see at the end. But we gotta make the barrel itself, but then also we gotta make something to be able to launch the barrel, okay? So I'm gonna do that in the next video, and then we're gonna do the testing video, which is gonna be absolutely sweet. So first things first, let's start out with what you need. The Goblin Barrel is pretty simple. I got these stainless steel cable ties from a little store we call Harbor Freight. They were super cheap. And then I just got one long stick of wood. This is 1 1/4 inch by 3/8 inch. And we're gonna use that for the barrel itself. We're gonna cut a bunch of different slats and things like that. And then you just need another 1/4 inch piece of wood. I don't have it right here with me. That's about all you need for the top and the bottom of the barrel. Super simple. Then we're gonna stain that thing up. We're gonna paint a goblin on it. And then we're gonna be good to go as far as the Goblin Barrel goes, okay? So I'm gonna get to cutting all the wood, and then we'll get right into it. Badoo. Okay, so real quick explanation. I cut 9 of these slats, and they're gonna be outside of the barrel. And then I also cut 8 of these little, oh, lost one, 8 of these little pieces. And they're gonna just be glued on the inside of those things. And that's what's gonna hold the lid on. I'll show you when it's done. It'll be easier to explain when it's done. But that's basically all you do. So you got 9 of those, and then you got those 8 things. So we're gonna get that all glued together with some hose clamps. It actually works out really well. These hose clamps you can pick up super cheap, and that's all I'm gonna use to basically hold the whole barrel together. So let's put that together now. Now that we have it all glued up and clamped with its little inserts in there, we're gonna go ahead, we'll take these clamps off, and then I will cut this little barrel part. I'll cut it to the right size, and then I will start cutting out the top and the bottom lids of the barrel so that we're good to go with staining this bad boy. Sweet. Alright, so a couple of things. We just did the table saw where we put the grooves in the barrel. So those grooves should be able to fit this zip tie perfectly. I don't know if you guys can see that. So when we put that zip tie around, after we stain the barrel, it should fit perfectly on there and in the groove, so that way it looks like it's actually clamping down all these little slats. So it should be pretty sweet. Secondly, we made the lids for the barrel lids and stuff. So now all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to work on these lids a little bit and grind them, kind of make them look like real wood. And then I'm gonna do the same thing on the edges right here. Make them kind of look like real slats of wood too, so that when I actually put it all together, it's gonna look pretty sick. And then we should be ready to stain this bad boy. Put the goblin on it, just paint a nice little goblin on there, and then clear coat it. And it should be good to go. Let's get to it. Now we got the Goblin Barrel all all stained up and clear coated. We just have a couple steps left, but I decided to bring it inside because it's nice and cozy inside, and then I have all the kids to help me out. So, like I said before, I have these little cable ties that I got from a little store out there in the world called Harbor Freight. Anyway, they're metal. And so we are gonna wrap those around this thing and put those in the grooves. And so I'm gonna do that real quick, and then I'm gonna show you the top and bottom. So I have the bands put on. They look pretty sweet on that Goblin Barrel. So now the top, the way the lids work is they're supposed to be able to come off when you launch the barrel. So I made them so they just kind of set in there on these little things that I put in there. You can kind of see in there, and that way you just put the lid on there. It sets on in there pretty easy. You just push it in, and then I'll just go ahead and pop off as soon as you launch it. Now, I was thinking, this thing turned out pretty sweet. Super excited about it. So I'm gonna have the kids go ahead and make some goblins. We'll throw them in there, and then we're gonna test it. But I'm like, dude, how are we gonna test this thing? I gotta make something to be able to launch the barrel. So, before we are able to completely finish this thing up and test it out, I'm gonna go segue into the next video, and we are gonna go ahead and make something so that we can launch this Goblin Barrel. And I figure it's exactly what Supercell's gonna use. So stay tuned for that video, be sure and watch it, and good luck.